The search for Michael Vaughan continues. Michael went missing from his neighborhood in Fruitland in July of 2021. He was just 5 years old at the time. Law enforcement has spent the last year and a half investigating. But the Fruitland police chief says a credible tip led investigators to a home near Michael's neighborhood this weekend.
Crews are back out in Fruitland today searching for Michael Vaughan. Police believe his remains are in the backyard of a Fruitland home, and today is the sixth day crews are excavating the yard. Crews could be at the house on Red Wing Street for another week. This house is just 4 minutes from the Vaughn's home.
As you know, from the time Michael went missing, this has been an all-hands-on-deck investigation, and it remains very active and an ongoing investigation. You can't take one of our most precious citizens from us and ever expect us to stop. During the course of this investigation to date, we received credible information that the remains of Michael Vaughan could be found in the backyard at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland. As a result, the Fruitland Police Department obtained a search warrant for the residence along with the front and backyards. That search warrant was served on November 11th. It was a Friday. We served that late in the evening. Upon entry, officers encountered Stacey Wondra, one of the known occupants of the home, and Sarah was subsequently arrested based on probable cause that she had knowledge of Michael's death and failed to report that death to law enforcement. The following day, the Fruitland Police Department, joined by the Idaho State Police, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, the Fruitland Fire Department, and the Fruitland Public Works Department, began a very methodical excavation of the backyard of the Wondras' home. During that excavation process, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, Mountain States detection dogs deployed multiple certified human remains detection dogs on the property, all of them alerting to the presence of human remains. Ground penetrating radar was also used and deployed, detecting anomalies in the backyard. We completed the excavation of the entire backyard and removed over 250 yards of dirt. Prior to backfilling the yard, the dirt was meticulously sifted for any potential human remains. We did not find Michael's remains. Although the remains of Michael Vaughan were not recovered, we strongly believe, based on evidence, that Michael was abducted and is deceased, and that his remains were buried and later moved from the property. As of today, the whereabouts of his remains are unknown. However, the investigation is active, fluid, and ongoing. Once the excavation was complete, we conducted a thorough search of the Wondras' residence. The search was productive, and additional investigative evidence was recovered and is currently being processed.
Evidence suggests that the following individuals who are currently in custody are involved in the abduction of Michael Vaughan. Stacey Wondra, 35 years old. Sarah lives at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland and was living there at the time of Michael's disappearance. We believe that Sarah has firsthand knowledge and is involved in Michael's abduction. Stacey Wondra is currently being held at the Payette County Jail for failing to report a death to law enforcement. And Stacey Wondra, 30 years old, a male. Stacey was also living at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland and was living there at the time of Michael's disappearance. We believe that Stacey has firsthand knowledge and is involved in the abduction of Michael Vaughan. Brandon Shurtliff, 30 years old, of Kuna, Idaho. Brandon was living with Sarah and Stacey Wondra at 1102 Red Wing Street at the time of Michael's disappearance, and we believe Brandon has firsthand knowledge of Michael's abduction. Adrien Lucienne, 32-year-old male out of Toledo, Ohio. Adrien was staying with Sarah and Stacey Wondra at 1102 Red Wing Street at the time of Michael's disappearance, and we believe that Adrien has firsthand knowledge of Michael's abduction.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome into Missing PNW Crimes Revisited. My name is Samantha. It's November 14th, 2025, and I'm so glad to have all of your support for Michael Vaughan and the Vaughan family. How is everybody doing today? I am feeling so much better. So much better. I took a rest yesterday, and I really think that it helped me because, I have not been resting, and I can't say I was completely resting. I was doing a lot of work, but it was all from sitting in my chair. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you guys are having a great Friday. Thank God it's Friday, right? TGIF. Who do we got in the house? Criminal Med is here. Halo Art, my beautiful moderator. Thank you, love, for coming in. Pretty Assessor is in the house. Thank you so much for coming. Baby Kisses. It's good to see you. Suzanne, hello. And Mama B, thank you guys so much for being here. Yes, thank God it's Friday. I'm excited. We got birthday parties and stuff to go to and get to hang out with grandbabies this weekend, and I'm really looking forward to it. Just Dawn is here, and Hair Curlers in Crime, my beautiful moderator that has the best YouTube name on the streets. Sally Mae is here. Opal, thank you so much for coming in, love. Bitter Tea is here. So many new people have been coming in and watching here at Missing PNW, and I just want to say thank you guys all for coming in. I really appreciate y'all being here to hear the facts on the Michael Vaughan case. Rogue is in the house. Good to see you, love. Maud is here. Ray, True Colors is here. I love the True Colors. I see your true colors shining through. One of my most favorite songs by Cyndi Lauper. And then it was great to see all of my grandbabies get to hear the song again when the Troll movies came out. I'm singing it out loud with the grandbabies. Women's Warrior, thank you for being here. Carrie, good to have you here. I love seeing all of the new faces. It's almost Mama B's birthday. Well, I don't know how good I can sing right now, but happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Gosh, I am feeling so much better. My voice is back. Alicia is here. Thank you so much. Just Irish is in the house. I absolutely love it. Again, thank you guys all so much for coming in to talk about Michael Joseph Vaughan. Let me just pull up his little flyer real quick so we can talk about him, talk about suspects. I'm going to put up a banner that has the tip line for the Fruitland Police Department, 208-642-6006, or you can email findmichael@fruitland.org. Michael Joseph Vaughan was abducted July 27th, 2021. He was 5 years old. And now we know, according to the probable cause affidavit that has been written out for Sarah and Stacey Wondra, even though Sarah has not been arrested or charged yet, we know that the four suspects, according to Stacey Wondra, took Michael, kidnapped him because they wanted to make a profit. They wanted to make money. And that's what this entire life is going to be about. The fact that they wanted to make money. The fact that that is called trafficking. And we're going to talk about it. Today is not going to be an easy day when going over the topics. When as I release information about Adrien Lucienne and who he truly is, it will be disturbing. In no way did Michael Vaughan's life was worth what, how do I put that? In no way should any 5-year-old little boy be taken for such horrific things. And it happens every day, all the time in our country and all over the world. Adrien Lucienne, according to Stacey Wondra and the probable cause affidavit, it was his idea to make the money. It was his idea to take a child, and we're going to talk about it. Stacey Wondra is waiting to be extradited back to Idaho to be read his rights and charged with first-degree murder, second-degree kidnapping, and destruction of evidence. Not sure when that extradition is going to come, but it is coming. The affidavit, like I said, is written out on Sarah Wondra. So, in my opinion, it's inevitable that she will also face charges. And in my opinion, so will the other suspects. Stacey Wondra, Sarah Wondra, Adrien Lucienne, and Brandon Shurtliff are the 4 suspects in Michael Vaughan's abduction and murder. There was evidence to prove that Michael Vaughan was buried in the Wondra's backyard and later moved to an unknown location. And we will also be talking about that today. Please, if you have any information about the 4 suspects, about Michael Vaughan's abduction, if you heard something, say something, please. You could have heard anything. Let law enforcement determine whether or not your tip is credible. And for anybody that's joining us tonight, you could do a huge service to the family by sharing Monkey's beautiful face and share his story. You can even post up on your social media that Stacey Wondra is going to be charged. I would also like you to come over and join us at Michael Vaughan Case Revisited Facebook group where I do post information that I do here in the lives. I have put up a copy of the probable cause affidavit on Stacey without watermarks. It is now up. I will be putting more information there as it comes in for creators that are here, that want to do lives, that want the facts, that want and need information. It's there in my Facebook group. And for any of those who just want to maybe read that affidavit in private and take your time, since it is such a sensitive topic, please call law enforcement with any tip at 208-642-6006 or email findmichael@fruitland.org. Today will be all things Adrien. As we go over the probable cause affidavit and as I release a new recording, and I have more recording to go over at a later date, but a new recording with, we're going to call him Jay. I won't be releasing the man's name because I have mad respect for him, but Adrien Lucienne knows exactly who he is. And it's somebody that I've been working close with. It's somebody that has spoken to law enforcement about Adrien. Just know the things we're going over today will not be easy. I really, really want to make sure that everybody knows that. Calamity in the house. Good to see you, my love. So glad to have you all here. Hello, Rhonda. It's good to see you today. I don't even know where to begin. I did make a list and stuff. It's been a busy day for me. And I'm glad I went over the affidavit. Even though I'd gone over it many times, I was looking in it again. I wanted to make sure all my information today was going to specifically be on the topic of selling Michael, the S trafficking world, how Adrien has a part in it or could have a part in it, because Stacey does say that it was Adrien's idea. And everybody might be thinking to themselves, well, that's what Stacey's saying, and Stacey's a liar. We all know Stacey's an habitual liar. But I'm going to show you guys some stuff today that will blow your mind about Adrien Lucienne, his involvement, things he has said. And you will be asking yourself by the end of this live, or even telling yourself by the end of this live, damn, Adrien Lucienne really does have a huge role in this. He very well could, it really could have been his idea. All right, we got Lena in the house, I believe. Mick Sporin from Scotland. Good to see you. Love having you here. I see you is in the house. I see you. I have made some amazing friends through this journey. I'm just going to have to say that right now. I have made some incredible friends. You all know who you are, and I appreciate you all so much for the information you send me, for things that you help me with. I love each and every one of you so very much. You don't even know. Yaya World is here. Hey, I just saw you scroll on by. Good to see you. I did not see you in chat one of the last lives that I had. It's so good to have you, hun. Missy's here. Wood Chipper is here. Thank you guys all so much for coming in. Okay. First on the agenda, because you guys know that I do not like misinformation. I do not like it. Little C in the house. Good to see you. I just don't like it. So, I want to go over something that is on page 2 of the affidavit, because I want to make it perfectly clear, and for those who are asking themselves questions about why wasn't Michael seen on camera in the neighborhood when he was abducted. And it mentions the fact that Michael, on page 2, it says Michael is never seen on any of the surveillance footage that was obtained. And I really want to go over this. CCTV cameras are at the very end of 8th. They are not in the neighborhood of the Wondras or in the neighborhood of the Vaughan family. They do not go down to 8th Street in Arizona like Stacey Wondra has claimed and like others are claiming now. It isn't true. And in the probable cause affidavit on page 2, it says video surveillance was gathered from security cameras in the neighborhood Michael disappeared from, as well as the neighbors or neighboring areas. Security cameras. And then it goes on to say that Michael was never seen on any of the surveillance footage that was obtained. But we know there's video footage of Brandon Shurtliff walking around the neighborhood during the same time that Michael Vaughan is wandering the neighborhood. That doesn't mean that Brandon's being seen on CCTV camera. No. Video or security cameras. They probably even have doorbell cameras. It doesn't say that in the affidavit. I'm going to be very specific. It does not say doorbell cameras. But I want everybody to be clear. CCTV cameras do not come back into the area on 8th in Arizona, as Stacey Wondra has claimed and even argued with Brandon Vaughan right here on panel. Even Brandy knows that CCTV cameras didn't see that area. Had the CCTV camera been in that area, they would know exactly where Monkey was, where he was wandering around, and exactly where he was when he was taken, right? Huge, huge piece of information that I feel like everybody should have. Dawn, good to see you here, hun. Thank you for coming. Okay. So with that being said, we're going to move right along with Adrien Lucienne. I told everybody once before that the warrant that Adrien Lucienne got in Indiana on October 20th was not the only warrant Adrien has. I remember going over a warrant that he had in Maryland in one of my other videos. I think I named it like Hoodlums or something else. You can go back and watch that. But I went back because I wanted to see, and I had help today. She knows who she is. And I wanted to go back to see if that warrant in Maryland was still active, and it is. So, hold on one second. I've got a lot of information to go over today, so bear with me. So this is the case information. District Court, or the court system, District Court for Montgomery County, Criminal Silver Spring is the location. State of Maryland, Adrien Temple Lucienne, criminal. File date 7/17 of 2023. So a couple of years ago. Case status is open. It describes Adrien Lucienne. And then on the next page, it goes over different things that have been filed. Public defender, eligible for a public defender on 10/13/2023. 10/16/2023, a motion to request demand for discovery and inspection. 10/16/2023, motion request for speedy trial. 10/19/2023, notice to introduce records. 10/20/2023, correspondence regarding discovery. 11/6/2023, returned undeliverable by mail. So basically, they sent him something in the mail and it came back. 12/14/2023, pre-trial docket sheet. 12/14/2023, failure to appear. Imagine that. Failure to appear, just like he did down in Indiana on October 20th, when he promised he was going to come back to court, because he was arrested on October 3rd for unauthorized entry to a motor vehicle. 12/14/2023, a bench warrant was issued. And then there's this one. 7/17/2023, document was issued. 7/17/2023, summons issued. 8/28/2023, key point preliminary injury hearing conducted on 8/28/2023. Also, a summons was served on 10/13/2023. There's another key point and another key point and another key point. I don't really know what a key point is, but 3 of them were filed the same day, 10/13/2023. Pre-trial docket sheet, trial hearing, postponement, public defender eligible. And then the very last one, well, not quite the last one. His charge, burglary, 4th degree, misdemeanor. There was a probable cause written out that I do not have. And then, let me see. Bench warrant served but failed. It's like there's a bench warrant that's filed, but I think that it was failed to be able to be delivered because they didn't know where Adrien was. And then the city of Rockville in Maryland talks about his state attorney and what his attorney's name was, the trial dates, and this is from today. Still active. So Adrien Lucienne has a warrant in Rockville, Maryland, which is close to Pennsylvania, where we know he was before he went to Indiana. Lord knows how many stops he made along the way down to Indiana because he's constantly traveling. I kept my eye on him for a good while. I don't think he's been in Indiana, but maybe a few short months or so. But we know he has 2 warrants, and we're looking for more. Okay. So, there's that. I just wanted to talk about that. And then yeah, he does get himself around, right? If he isn't holding down a job or anything else, where the hell is he getting money to travel around? I know he's pretty popular, or not popular. He's pretty good at like finding enough money to get on a bus and travel around, according to his father, which you guys are going to hear in a recording that I'm going to be releasing. You guys are going to learn more about Adrien Lucienne, his parents, who they were, how he grew up, the kind of schools that he went to. In my gut, I didn't feel like it was the right time to release the information, even though I had been told I could. But now I feel like it's time to release more information that I have on Adrien Lucienne. So pushing forward, we're going to be releasing more and more new information about Adrien Lucienne. I believe they are watching Adrien. Maybe he is panhandling. I've thought about that too. We know that when he was living with Sarah and Wondra, Stacey Wondra had been out running around panhandling, and Sarah was also holding up signs and everything else. Summer's Army is here. Thank you so much for being here. Justice will come for all four. I believe that too. So, okay, pushing forward, I want to read something. This is going to be from page 6 of the affidavit. I'm going to try to remember to give you guys the page numbers as we go along. I'm going to read this. OG Nanny is in the house. Thank you so much for being here. I've always wondered if the other three are afraid of him because they never talk about him. And his connections, like Adrien Lucienne has a lot of connections, and it very well could be that they are scared of him. Or they don't want to talk about him because if Adrien Lucienne comes out of the woodworks, he might be able to turn on them all. I don't know. Until this affidavit was written, I actually, even with the information that I knew, was wondering what Adrien's part was in all of this. And now I'm really starting to think that he has a lot more to do with everything than I had originally thought. So on page 6 of the affidavit, I'm going to read something here. And I'm also going to be pointing something out. It says, additionally, Stacey stated that the idea to take a child to sell for money was Adrien's, and they would get a $10,000 cut. Stacey was asked if Sarah provided any direction throughout any part of this. Stacey said that Sarah asked him and Brandon to follow her lead, which was to take the kid. Stacey recalled that most of the conversation at that point was Sarah trying to figure out what they were going to do. Key point right here that I'm about to read. Sarah had asked Brandon. Sarah had asked Brandon where we should put the body. And Brandon was like, well, you guys can take him over to my house and we'll deal with it. And that will buy us some time. It's huge right here because we have talked about Sarah and Brandon's relationship. We know they were being intimate with one another. She was also being intimate with Adrien. But we've talked right here about the fact that we thought maybe Sarah and Brandon were in love with each other. And out of all of the people in the room, Sarah is asking Brandon where we should put the body. And Brandon was like, well, you guys can take him over to my house and we'll deal with it. Sarah had asked Brandon. I think that's huge. But the biggest part because we're sticking to Adrien, guys. We are sticking to Adrien today. All about Adrien today. Stacey stated that the idea to take a child to sell for money was Adrien's, and that they would get a $10,000 cut. Now, on page 3 of the affidavit, Adrien was vague in his statements and wouldn't commit to a solid statement. He also refused to provide his social security number for identification confirmation. He provided Stacey's phone number as his own and concealed his real phone number from law enforcement. Adrien wasn't wanting to give up anything about himself that would tell law enforcement exactly who he was. And not only on top of being vague, also on page 3 of the probable cause affidavit, on August 1st, 2021, Fruitland police contacted the residents at address in Fruitland on their initial search of the residence. They located Adrien Lucienne hiding in a closet. Residents of the home on that date and on July 27th, 2021 were identified as married couple Stacey and Sarah Wondra and their sublets Brandon Shurtliff and Adrien Lucienne. All 4 were interviewed on August 1st, 2021. But here we have 6'4" Adrien Lucienne hiding in a closet. Can you guys even just like picture that? You guys all know how tall he is. He is a tall guy. A very tall guy. And he's hiding in a closet. This guy who knows all these badass people, all these gang members, who's caught up in all kinds of stuff, drug trafficking, trafficking, apparently. And he's hiding in a closet, and he is as big as of a coward as Brandon Shurtliff. A coward. How embarrassing, Adrien. How embarrassing. I hope all of your friends are listening, hearing and laughing that your ass is hiding in the closet when law enforcement comes. Like they weren't going to find you. And it's also very telling that you're hiding and that you're not wanting law enforcement to know anything about you. Not wanting to give up any information about yourself. Why is that? What were you afraid that they were going to find on you? Very interesting. Trigger warning, please. Trigger, trigger, trigger. Moderators. On page 5 of the affidavit, Stacey then said that when he first saw Michael, Sarah was carrying Michael into their home. Stacey and Michael was put in a duffel bag to transport him out of their house and to Brandon's house in Cuno. Stacey said Sarah was frantic trying to figure out what to do, and Brandon interjected, "I have a duffel bag." Stacey described Michael as crying, and to prevent him from moving or making noise, Stacey described how Sarah taped Michael using duct tape. When asked who put Michael in the bag, Stacey said Brandon gathered the bag and gave it to Sarah. Sarah picked up Michael as Adrien Lucienne helped hold the sides of the bag as they shoved Michael in the duffel bag. I'm not going to continue with the rest of this because it is very, very disturbing. But Adrien Lucienne, Adrien, why are you helping Sarah Wondra put Michael in a duffel bag? You act like you ain't got nothing to do with any of this. And let's talk about the duffel bag briefly. Here's Stacey Wondra talking about the duffel bag.
To Brandon, and that was his mother's house, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, did Brandon have anything with him?
He had his duffel bag full of clothes, but it was small. It wasn't even a huge duffel bag. It was tiny.
Like, what do you consider tiny? Like a book bag size, or big enough to fit?
Take like a small duffel bag, had the little hand straps on it, but not near big enough to put a human in it at all.
Okay, so you're saying there's no way that he could have stuffed a small child in that bag. He just had dirty clothes in the bag.
Yeah.
Was Stacey Wondra asked whether or not Michael would fit into that duffel bag he's talking about? No. So why even say that? But he talks about the duffel bag. A lot of creators tried to get Stacey Wondra to talk about the duffel bag more and more and more. And I mean, at one point, Josh from the lab, almost nailed his ass to the wall during a live. But here's Stacey Wondra. I'm giving credit to Dolly Vision for this interview here. And he is saying that the duffel bag wasn't big enough to put Michael in, even though he wasn't even asked. That's just like something that was in his head, something he thought he needed to say. And to me, I feel like that's leakage or something that was on his mind as he's talking about the said duffel bag. And here is Brandon Shurtliff talking about the duffel bag. Spoke yesterday about a duffel bag. Did you bring a duffel bag to your mom's house?
So I've had many different duffel bags growing up and this and that and everything. But at that time, I'm pretty sure I carried just around.
I have had lots of duffel bags in my life and this and that. He starts rambling off about throughout his life how he had a bunch of damn duffel bags. You weren't asked about all the duffel bags you ever owned in your entire life, Brandon.
Like a little small thing that I would put hygiene items in and, clothes or boxer briefs, underwear, whatever, shirts.
Right.
Stuff
Do you
like
remember
that. So
bringing that?
I don't know if I had that on me at that time or not, but I do remember that I have like a little travel.
I don't know if I had that on me or not. And it gets this strange sound in his voice. And now that I've been going over more and more of listening to Brandon, when he gets this particular tone right here, He's nervous as hell.
Bag that I keep with me to put my phone in, or keys, or wallet, or just your everyday stuff you need in a vehicle, maybe your insurance papers or IDs, stuff like that.
Okay. He deflects too about having anything big enough, just some little something that he holds on to and has. Also, as we're talking about Stacey Wondra right here and the duffel bag, I want to share something that was gone over by Deception Detective when Brandon Vaughan had her discussion and questioned Stacey Wondra here on Missing PNW. Let me share my screen real quick. More leakage here by Stacey Wondra.
Yeah, I have a felony history, but guess what? My felony history doesn't pertain to sex offense crimes.
In that intervening period, nobody mentioned sex crimes. Stacey brought that up all on his own. Spontaneous statements and explanations are often the most revealing because they show what's on someone's mind. Why is Stacey touting his clean record of sex crimes as a defense against kidnapping Michael? For all we know, someone hit Michael with their car, hid the body so they wouldn't get in trouble, and nothing else happened. There's no evidence of a sex crime or even an abduction. The chilling implication is by denying a sex crime, Stacey might be unintentionally revealing to us what he and the others are actually guilty of.
Yeah.
What him and the others are actually guilty of. And now the probable cause affidavit has came out, and we hear that Adrien came up with some idea that they were going to sell Michael and they were all going to profit $10,000. And then you get Stacey Wondra up on a panel with Brandy, and he spills leakage about how I was a felon, but I would never assault a kid or assault anybody. Pure leakage. Scotty Too Hottie in the house. Thank you for coming. Jupiter's Tarot and Astrology is here. Thank you for coming over. Thank everybody for coming in. I'm watching new people here. Hold on one second. I got a message I need to check real quick. Hold on one second, okay? Everyone, bear with me for just a moment, please. Thank you for waiting, you guys. You guys are always so patient. I had to take care of something going on right now, so all right. So yeah, there's Stacey Wondra talking about it in a way that, just blowing our minds. Like, why would he even be bringing that up? The way that it was mentioned and talked about, it is complete leakage, in my opinion. Okay. Now we're going to talk about something else, and I'm going to throw this picture up while I talk about it. Here is Adrien Lucienne taking a selfie of himself. Did I not? Hold on a second, guys. I gotta find it, going through all the pages. Okay. On page 3 of the probable cause affidavit, it says, and we're really going to talk about this, you guys, because it's very strange and unusual behavior. Okay? On page 3, it says, Adrien's phone did not provide any location data during the evening of July 27th, 2021. However, Adrien took a selfie photo in the guest bathroom at the Wondra's residence at 7:26 p.m. This is not the picture that he took, not that I'm aware of, but I threw up the picture because he has a habit of taking a picture of himself while he's in bathrooms, taking selfies, okay? But let's get back to that time. He's in the guest bedroom at the Wondra's house, taking a selfie of himself at 7:26. 7:26. Adrien is taking a selfie when Brandon, Stacey, Sarah just left to go to CUNA at 7:08 p.m. And the first thing he does is take a selfie of himself. And I know, verified, and well, I have been told by a very reliable source that the selfie that he took of himself was taken after he got out of a shower. Adrien Lucienne, after they leave to go to CUNA with Michael in the bed of the pickup truck, takes a shower. Why? We can all guess why, right? To get any evidence off of himself. He obviously didn't feel gross in any way, shape, or form because he's thinking about him damn self. He just helped put Michael in a duffel bag and he's taking a selfie. Adrien, do you not have a heart at all? Why would you take a selfie of yourself? Didn't anything that just happened at the Wondra's house affect you in any way, shape, or form? Mr. Adrien Lucienne, Lucifer, Adrien Lucifer, Lucienne, as he has used many, many, many times as his name on social media. I can guarantee you today, Adrien, you will not like me. You will look like a monster. The monster that you are, obviously. If you can take a selfie of yourself right after you've just helped put Michael in a duffel bag, you sick piece of shit. And why did Adrien stay behind? I'm still asking myself that question. Why did you stay behind, Adrien? Why didn't you go to CUNA? Oh, wait. You did, didn't you? According to the probable cause affidavit, on page 5, they then towed Brandon's car back to Fruitland. Stacey, Brandon, and Sarah back to Fruitland. Stacey said that Sarah, Brandon, and Adrien went to CUNA the next day to get Michael. The three of them brought Michael's body back to their house in Fruitland. He stated that he was inside. Brandon was on guard, and Sarah and Adrien dug the hole together. Stacey Wondra says that you, Adrien Lucienne, went and got Michael's body from CUNA with Sarah and Brandon, brought his body back to Fruitland, and helped Sarah bury Michael Vaughan in the Wondras' backyard. And Stacey even says it on his confession footage.
He did it all?
No, she said Stacey murdered him and buried him.
Oh my God, dude. That is the most... Wow, man. That's definitely not what I did. I didn't do any of that. And you're going to find out as soon as you guys locate him. Like I said, I wanted no part in that. None.
Is the duct tape still going to be over his mouth?
It should be.
Okay.
I didn't watch take him off.
Okay.
So you should have everything intact as it was.
How long? Give me an approximate time frame it took her to dig and bury.
I don't know. I'd say probably between a half hour to an hour-ish. I want to say. I mean, I think Adrien was helping her, if I'm right about that. I mean, Adrian's pretty. Brandon wasn't anywhere around that. But I know Adrian's, pretty decent, skinny dude, so he's, his abilities, and he's taller, so his abilities are a little more, spread open, wide open than.
Stacey right there says that Adrien Lucienne helped Sarah dig the hole that they put Michael in and help Sarah bury him. I'm just taking a breather, you guys. And I'm reading something real quick. In the affidavit, on page 7, Idaho State Police and Ada County Sheriff's Office assisted with the execution of the search warrant at the Wondras residence, along with 5 separate certified cadaver canines. Prior to officers digging in the backyard of the Wondras residence, cadaver canines were deployed and alerted in the backyard of the Wondras house. A total of 5 certified cadaver dogs. 5, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. 5. 5 cadaver dogs alerted inside the Wondras backyard, in the approximate area of where Stacey claimed he witnessed Sarah and Adrien bury Michael. Neither Michael nor any human remains were located during the excavation of the search. During the excavation of the search warrant, prior to excavating the backyard, law enforcement noted there were several areas in the yard that appeared to have been filled in with dirt and or resodded. Kay and Ed Ramsey reported, that is Sarah's parents, by the way, that they had helped fill in areas of the yard where Sarah and Stacey's dog had dug holes. Adrien and Sarah burying Michael in that backyard. Also, when that warrant was served, there was a probable cause affidavit that was written up. And when law enforcement spoke to Sarah Wondra, she said, I have to put this on my phone, you guys, sorry. Fruitland police obtained a search warrant. That's what this affidavit says. According to court documents, police forced entry into the Wondras home around 9:30 p.m. Friday, where they found Sarah Wondra in the living room. She was detained and read a copy of the search warrant. When I got to the portion that read murder, she said, "Did you just say murder?" Multiple times. A Fruitland police officer wrote in the affidavit, she also said, "I have never murdered anyone." Officials said Sarah Wondra maintained that she definitely did not kill that boy, and said, "The Most High God already told me who did it." She reportedly told police, "Oh, wow. The Most High God just told me that Stacey was the one who unalived him and buried him in the yard of the neighbor's house." When asked later to show police where the boy was buried, according to the affidavit, she told police of a spot near the entry of her residence and said Stacey had buried him in the backyard by the shed. So it goes from the neighbors to their backyard by the shed. Police said by that point they had begun hand digging a portion of the Wondras yard based on information received from Stacey, who had not been arrested or charged By Monday afternoon, it wasn't clear when or why police had spoken with Stacey Wondra. Mind you, this warrant is only served in November of 2022 because Stacey Wondra told police that Michael had been buried in the backyard. Sarah Wondra was arrested and told police, "God just told me that Stacey was the one who did it," adding that she knew the body was in the neighbor's yard because that's what Stacey just told me. She then corrected herself and said that God told her according to the affidavit, or corrected herself and said that's what God told her. She allegedly reiterated to police that she had nothing to do with Michael's disappearance. She said her husband buried Michael in the backyard by the shed, but wasn't the one who actually harmed the boy. She said instead that a man identified only as Adrien had been the one that had done it, and he was scared to tell anybody. In this affidavit, it shows that Sarah Wondra herself said that Adrien Lucienne was the one who unalived Michael. Again, more information, another person besides Stacey throwing Adrien under the bus as she's scared, as police have just come through their door to serve a warrant, to search their house, and to look for Michael's body in the backyard. Excuse me. Maybe I should use a Halls real quick. Hold on one second, you guys. Hold on. He most definitely was trying to get a deal. I think that was the whole purpose of why he had wanted to talk to law enforcement. He thought he knew where, he knew where Michael had been buried, but maybe he just didn't know that Michael had been moved. Maybe Stacey did know that he had been moved. But I think if he knew where Michael had been moved, he would have already said something to law enforcement about where he is. Or maybe he knew he had been moved, but don't know where Michael was moved to because nobody informed him, because they didn't trust him, which obviously he already threw them under the bus. And also, I would like to point out Brandon Shurtliff that on page 7 in the affidavit, where does it say? Is it not on this page? Hold on one second. Let me look. I know it says somewhere that Brandon Shurtliff stood guard while Michael was being buried in the backyard. I can't find it right now. Oh my gosh, it's just so disturbing, all of this information. And I'm so sorry to have to go over it all. I hate having to go over it all. It does say somewhere in this affidavit, though. Yes, thank you for putting up the trigger warnings. This has been very, very, very one of the hardest things I've ever had to read or go over. And I'm just having to remove myself emotionally from all this. So if I sound unemotional, in my head, I'm just trying to disconnect a little bit, because when I first read this, it was very, very disturbing to me. And I was quite emotional about it and even had nightmares, as has Brandy been doing since this affidavit has came out. During our phone conversation the other day, she was bawling. I mean, the family hearing all this new information in this affidavit, going over it, probably picking it apart as we're doing, reading it over and over and over again is very difficult. So again, I'm really, truly sorry, but it's what's got to be done. It is what needs to be done. Let me see. And let's talk about the scam Adrien and Sarah were doing.
Were Sarah and Adrien making fake girl accounts to get, how do I say this, YouTube politically correct? Ladies of the night. How does that work? Yeah, is that okay, Sam?
Yeah.
Did you know about that, Stacey? Did you know Sarah and Adrien were making false accounts to get working women?
No, no, I did not. But I also know that Adrien had approached Sarah and said that if you help me create fake accounts, that I'll pay you a percentage. And I remember telling Sarah,
here Stacey Wondra is talking about being paid. He's talking about Sarah being paid a percentage. He's actually talking about a payment here. Not only is there like some scam Adrien and Sarah were trying, like he's talking about Sarah receiving a percentage of money that Adrien Lucienne is offering Sarah.
specifically, don't fucking do it.
You didn't have any involvement in them setting up fake accounts to
No.
guys
And I told no, not at all.
Smarter than you?
Not at all. I wouldn't allow myself with that.
They didn't set that up. Oh, but so you knew that they were setting it up, but because
No.
they stated
No.
they were smarter than you, Adrien and Sarah were, that they.
Brandy just tears him up right here.
They were going to do it to rob these people so you guys had money?
No, and we never, to my knowledge, the only income that we were getting, Brandy, was from our taxi, from doing taxi rides.
Right. I want to know more about this plan to setting up fake accounts and pretending to be women.
I can't, here's the thing. So I can't give you more than what I can tell you right now.
You can't tell me about how Adrien.
No. Like what I'm telling you is I don't know anything other than Adrien, when he first came in to stay with us, had approached Sarah and said, hey, I'm trying to find a way to make some money. I have an idea that we could create some fake accounts as women and get money from people. And I specifically told Adrien and Sarah. I said, no, you guys shouldn't be doing this shit. That's illegal, number one. And number two, it's not right to take from people.
Okay.
And I specifically told Adrien because he claimed that he got disability or fucking workers' comp out of the state of New York somehow or some way.
Let's go to that day that Adrien brought up this.
The fake profile?
Yeah. Did Adrien come the same day that Michael was taken?
No. Adrien had come I think he was at our house for at least 2 months.
2 months before then. When was the time that he brought up the
day he came to stay with us? It was that night.
night.
We were trying to confirm with him. We were basically trying to vet him because he was claiming how he got employment benefits from New York. But then his story didn't match up to me. I just didn't get it. I was like, how do you get employment benefits from another state when you don't even live in that state? It just didn't make sense to me.
How do you even get unemployment benefits if your ass don't work? It's just all lies coming out of Stacey Wondra's mouth. I don't believe Adrien Lucienne was collecting any kind of state funds at the beginning of the month to pay rent. Just saying.
And then when he approached the question about saying, hey, there's a way we can make money, he had asked Sarah. He didn't ask me. He had asked Sarah.
He didn't ask Stacey, but he asked Sarah. Hair Curlers and Crime says he's scamming people to get cash, but Adrien could be straight up robbing them and they wouldn't go to the cops. Yeah. He could straight up be trying to scam Stacey, Sarah, and Brandon. Good point.
And I was in the room. And he had asked and said, hey, would you be willing to help me if, create some fake profiles and we can make money off of people? And I specifically told Sarah, and I looked at her and I said, no. And I looked at Adrien too, and I said, no. I said, I'm not okay with this.
So first the app was going to be Adrien and Sarah, but also then Adrien talks to Stacey about it, and Stacey being the one who sells phones and iPads and scams people for money and even goes out and panhandles for money is going to say, no, dude, I don't want nothing to do with that. I don't want nothing to do with making any money, even though he tried to get money from every YouTuber that put them up on their panel. I don't believe that for a minute.
I said, that's not okay to take from people. Or is it okay to create a fake account just so you can bank off of somebody and create, a false prostitution app or account? I said, I'm not okay with that. And I told them that, and I told them my boundary.
Wow.
And from that point on, I don't know what happened.
So let me clear. So the night that you met Adrien, and he came to live with you guys, he proposed this to you all.
Correct.
Okay. And then, so he continued to stay with you, and this was 2 months prior to Michael being
Your boy's disappearance.
Brandy busted him by saying he proposed this to y'all and he said yes, meaning plural, approached it to them, all of them. Not sure about Brandon, he's not being mentioned here, but you're getting the point.
His abduction, correct. Ladies of the night, how does that work? Yeah, is that okay, Sam?
Yeah.
What Brandy asked was about.
I didn't know that was in here, but we ain't gonna talk about it. All right, so we've got ladies of the night here. Let me see if I can fast forward through those pieces. Not even really sure what it is. I wish I would have watched it prior. Let me throw it back up.
Said that.
You
And that's what I told Sarah, because that's exactly what I told Sarah after we went to bed that night. I literally approached her and I said, "Are you fucking serious?" I'm sorry. I said, "Are you serious right now?" I said,
Did you say I'm fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? Were those the exact words? Like, I want
no, I literally told her, I was like, "Are you serious? Like, this is like," I said, and I told her, like, I can't remember the exact wording. Okay, like I said, we're talking, almost 3 years. So what I do know is that I did have that conversation with her when we were in the bedroom. And I told her, I said, "That's not okay."
Okay.
I said, and I asked her, I said, "Doesn't it throw red flags at you that this dude's trying to sit there and try to hustle money off people?"
So did that cause?
So Stacey Wondra is the one being the good guy here, talking to Sarah about this isn't okay. And the main thing here too is that he says something to the effect of, "I told Sarah, something bad's gonna happen if he, that he's here."
Cause like an argument? I mean, did it
not with me, per
did it
se.
get heated between you and Adrien at all?
It caused tension. I mean, I had set my guard.
Brandy gets him so upset. Brandy gets him going. She did great. She's the strongest woman I know.
Up against Adrien to start, especially after approaching that question.
I would assume so, yeah. I mean,
Because that's not okay with me. Like, we're sitting here trying to run a successful taxi business, and we got this guy that we have a heart. I didn't want to have the heart, but I had a heart because Sarah wanted to have the heart. And that's the only reason. I was like, you know what? You're going to do what you do. If you bring him here, I can't, I didn't want to argue with her. Like, Sarah and I had enough problems. And so I didn't want to cause any more tension between us by raising an argument or a stiff. And I didn't like fighting with her. It got nowhere.
Tell me more about the scam that Adrien was trying to run. Isn't that a scam used for human trafficking?
So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know anything other than that he had approached it that night, and I shut it down. So whether he was doing it after, like behind my back.
Did you hear that? She asked about human trafficking, and he says that Adrien let's hear it again.
So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know anything other than that he had approached it that night.
He'd approached it that night. And we know in the probable cause affidavit that he says that it was Adrien's idea to make a $10,000 profit, whether that be $10,000 each or splitting $10,000. The affidavit isn't specific, but that it was Adrien's idea. When Brandy asked him about, isn't that some kind of human trafficking? You guys want to hear it again? Here we go. Let's listen to it again.
About the scam that Adrien was trying to run. Isn't that a scam used for human trafficking?
So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know anything other than that he had approached it that night, and I shut it down. So whether he was doing it after, like behind my back, and if Sarah knew something about it, then that's like between them. I cannot speak on that.
Okay, so you don't know if Sarah met any of those men?
No, and like I would have been like, I shut that down when she had approached that initially.
Were Sarah and Adrien?
I shut that down when she mentioned it initially. Sarah mentioned it initially about human trafficking and saying that Adrien Lucienne brought it up that night. Talking about the night, because this was a bunch of clips put together, the night that Adrien Lucienne comes to their house. Also in this video, he says that Adrien was there and it was months before Michael's abduction. We've heard 1 week, 2 week, day prior, a month, 2 months. And here recently, there was a guy that allegedly saw Sarah Wondra pistol whip Adrien Lucienne on the couch and puts Adrien being at the Wondras back in like March, April of 2021. That's 3 months prior to Michael's abduction. Man, she really does, Brandy, nail Stacey's ass to the wall, doesn't she? She is fierce. And if you guys thought she was fierce before, oh no. Now that Brandy has had her liver transplant, now that she is getting healthier by the day, she's an unstoppable force. And she wants justice for her son. And she will get it. She will get it. We will help her get it. We will support her and the Vaughan family no matter what. We're Monkey's Army, and Michael deserves justice. I am too, Criminal Med. I'm so glad she's feeling better. Stacey saw dollar signs. Exactly. Anytime he sees dollar signs, his ass is going to jump on it, I mean. Of course. There's no way he's hearing he could be making some money and not doing it. And as you hear about them going, here is Sarah Wondra sitting on the couch with Adrien Lucienne. A man named Andrew recently gets on Justin's panel at Clutches Them Pearls. I went over and joined and said that there was a conversation going on the couch, and Sarah was saying something about wanting to kidnap or abduct or whatever somebody. And apparently Adrien gets upset and says something, and she whacks him in the head with the gun from the couch. We just did that live not too long ago. Okay. Now I have some more information I want to share. Let me get this up, and then I'm going to pause it real quick. Now we're going to get into a recording. This is just clips from a longer recording talking about Adrien Lucienne. Adrien Lucienne's friend, Jay, we're just going to call him Jay, was texting back and forth with Adrien Lucienne while I was on the phone with him. We were trying to get Adrien to talk about Monkey. And just to say anything, you know, we're going to go over that and a lot more other things that are in this. Part of it's a recording, some of it's some screenshots, information that I have about Adrien, and we're going to go over this entire thing here. And this is just the beginning, you guys. Just the beginning of information that I have on Adrien Lucienne, and just a tiny clip from probably 7 hours worth of recordings that I have, that I'm working on. Listen up closely. If your TV screen or your phone or whatever you're looking at right now, if you're not watching in closed caption, I would do that if you can. I don't know if you can do that from my channel or not, but I would do that so that you can understand. The recording is a good recording. I even have screenshots from the text messages to back it up, and that we will clearly go over what he is saying. Adrien is texting him, but I want you guys to understand him. And in this particular recording, he had a cold and he's got kind of an accent. Okay. So let's go over this. And trigger warning for anybody watching. Please protect your mental health.
I never thought you would be tied up in the missing kids case with the Wondras. He said sacrifice went wrong. This never happened before. But I'm the traitor.
Again, he says to Adrien, I can't believe you're caught up, you know, with the Wondras. And Adrien Lucienne says, sacrifice gone wrong. That never happened before. I'm going to replay it.
I never thought you would be tied up in the missing kids case with the Wondras. He said sacrifice went wrong. This never happened before. But I'm the traitor. He told me about the Wondras with Brandon and them.
He's talking about the Wondras and Brandon and them.
But he deleted the part where he said, y'all niggas trafficking kids. He deleted that.
But he deleted the part where he said, y'all were trafficking kids.
I'll screenshot it though, but he deleted it.
Y'all was trafficking kids?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, he did say that. He deleted it.
But you got it in a screenshot?
Yeah.
And here's the screenshot. This is Adrien Lucienne using the Hickey McGuire profile, which I will show all my receipts, all of my receipts, proving that this is Adrien Lucienne speaking with his longtime friend growing up. I will not talk about his name because Jay is a wonderful man. Let me just get into this for a second, okay? A wonderful man. I spoke with him many hours. He spoke about how he wanted justice for Michael, that he would do what he could to help. He spoke about how awful it was that Brandy was so sick, and all he wanted to do was to help get justice for Michael. And before anybody comes at me with, why are you releasing this information? This could be information, you know, that's law enforcement has everything. And I don't do anything on this show without running it by people first. I won't put anything up here that I'm not allowed to put up here. Brandy knows exactly what I'm doing. Others know exactly what I'm doing. So don't come at me sideways. But here, I need to get my phone out so that I can actually read this. Jay, we're just going to call him Jay. I would never thought you'd be tied up in a missing kids case with Wondras. Adrien says sacrifice went wrong. This never happened before, but I'm the traitor. Sacrifice went wrong? I believe he's talking about Michael's unaliving here. That's my opinion. And he also says this never happened before. Has Adrien Lucienne been doing this for a while? Has never happened before. Wouldn't that mean he's tried doing something like this before? Because that's what I'm getting out of it. I'm going to rewind just so everybody can listen to the recording again, and then we'll go over the rest of these while I'm here so I don't have to rewind so far.
I never thought you would be tied up in the missing kids case with the Wondras. He said sacrifice went wrong. This never happened before. But I'm the traitor. He told me about the Wondras with Brandon and them. But he deleted the part where he said, y'all that he's trafficking kids. He deleted that. I'll screenshot it though, but he deleted it.
Y'all was trafficking kids?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, he did say that. He deleted it.
But you got it in a screenshot?
Yeah.
And that's the one we just went over. Did I pause it or something? This is the Hickey McGuire Facebook profile picture. We'll talk about that later, but I put pictures in between screenshots so I can try to keep things separate, you know, everything in my video. Right here. You guys are paying them, he says. He's always talking in third person. I don't know why Adrien does that, but he's always talking in third person, or he's talking like all of a sudden he thinks his friend Jay has something to do with it, or that he is involved, you know, trying to find out information. But right here, y'all see that he says, y'all traffic kids. I'm not going to say the other word that is clearly in this screenshot, but y'all traffic kids. Talking about the Wondras, deflecting himself of having any part to do with it. And we're going to continue going through more screenshots that were taken from that conversation. Adrien Lucienne's involvement in this is huge. And a lot of people, when I first started talking about it, did not like me talking about it. They were like, why would you be saying that when we don't know for sure? Well, I had verified a lot of information and already had a ton of information, but I can clearly talk about it now that it's in this probable cause affidavit. Adrien Lucienne says, who tried to kill who, huh? Bro, we're on IG, Instagram. Jay says, who tried to kill you? Adrien says, we can't be talking like that. Jay says, so what? Adrien says, shit, gang, okay. Jay says, the Wondras or the Pope twins, which as I move forward, you guys are going to learn a lot about the Pope twins, okay? We're not going to cover that tonight, but we're talking about the Pope twins here. Jay says, the Wondras or the Pope twins? Adrien says, I don't know, bro. I wouldn't talk on this, bro. People trying to set you up. I'm going to have to get on my phone real quick because I can't finish reading the rest of that. For sure, the indictment. Shit I heard, bro. And here, Pope twins. Who are they? Oh, hold on a second. Why did it do that? Pope twins, who are they? Why does it keep moving forward? Stop it. Okay, did it pause? Sorry, you guys. Technical difficulties. Pope twins, who are they? The gangbangers trying or hyping Shorty up. And they are gang members. The Pope twins are gang members from Twin Falls, Idaho, and you guys are going to learn more about them. You help add extras to get me out the way. How did Adrien Lucienne get the mob on him? Adrien is talking about the Pope twins coming after him. They're on to him. They want him. And I will explain that. Why? Because he threw the Pope twins, these brothers, under the bus and started telling people that they were responsible for Michael's abduction and death. Then he says, let me get my passport. Jay says, passport? They won't let you leave the country? Are you crazy? And Adrien says, you shouldn't be talking to me. It's being monitored. So Adrien knows police are watching him. Or he's just paranoid. This is Adrien Lucienne at Applebee's the day that Michael disappeared. And let's talk about this picture. Adrien Lucienne was telling everybody that the reason that he went to Idaho was to meet his son for the first time, even though his son was, I want to say, like 5 or 6 or something. I don't know. He was way older. But the one and only time that Adrien Lucienne met his son was this day at Applebee's, in the entire time that he was in Idaho. So Adrien, what was the real reason why you went to Idaho? How did you meet Sarah and Brandon and Stacey? Adrien? Because Brandon said you flew in to Idaho from California. Brandon told his buddy that he's known since he was a teenager, Dan Guthrie, that Sarah and Adrien met on an app before Adrien even came to Idaho. So this whole Taxi's story about picking Adrien up behind a dumpster and then just feeling sorry for him and bring him home is just a lie. A lie. There were other reasons why he came to Idaho. Sorry. Damn, used me as the fall guy, Adrien says. Of course, you're black. That's what his friend Jay says. Not my wording, that's his. I'm not gonna tell if they leave me alone. I'm just trying to make clothes. He's like, I'm not gonna talk about this. I'm not gonna tell anybody what happened if they leave him alone. And that's exactly what Sarah, Brandon, and Stacey have been doing, right? We talk about why Stacey, Brandon, and Sarah don't talk about him. Because he's saying, I ain't going to say anything if they leave me alone. If they don't say my name, if they don't narc on them, who knows, right? They try to use me as the scapegoat, is what the bottom of that said. Adrien goes on, they tried to use me as the scapegoat and got caught up. Damn. They thought I was the one pimping. Ha ha ha. The price went up. Did you guys hear that? The price went up. I brought it to everybody's attention the other night that in this probable cause affidavit, it doesn't talk about who the 4 suspects were going to sell Michael to. We hear about $10,000 profit that Stacey Wondra mentions. And I've been asking myself over and over again, if they were going to make a profit off of Michael, why? Why did they end up unaliving him instead? And here Adrien is, the price went up. Is that the reason? What price went up on whose side? And of course, Michael was taken and was abducted from their neighborhood. And it even says in the probable cause affidavit that Sarah was kind of freaking out a little bit, trying to figure out what to do. Well, that's because she came in the house with Michael, and now she doesn't even know what to do with him. And everybody's freaking out on her because she took him from the neighborhood, according to the affidavit. Here, it's wickedness in high places. Damn. You realize if they keep talking crazy and you say nothing and they actually charge you, it's over. And then he says the N word, tried to kill Adrien. He mentions this a lot, that people have been trying to harm him now for a minute. That's Adrien's recent mugshot from Indiana. And then he's just telling his friend Jay here that he loves them, and says, just take care of my son when they kill me. K-I-L him. He just wants somebody to take care of his son. And here's receipts on Hickey McGuire. Hickey McGuire, Facebook, social media, Michael Vaughan case revisited, discussions. This is his profile. He came into my Facebook for Michael Vaughan. And he posted, and that's the profile picture that he was using. Can you guys see that? Like, hold on. Right here in the circle, that's the profile picture. That is this here. That's Adrien Lucienne. Says down at the bottom, Hickey McGuire. This is a woman, and of course, he's got the pentagram that is also being used in that same profile name right here, Hickey McGuire. Not only did he come into my Michael Vaughan Facebook, he also posted a heart. He posted in the Facebook group. And what's even more strange than that is he actually took it down. It says right here, and I was taking screenshots of everything because I wanted it. I didn't know if he would end up removing it or not. And it says right here, and because I'm the admin, of course, I get all of the information and I can look. Hickey McGuire participated about 5 months ago. Now it's been about a year. And then when I went to go check and look for it again, thank God I'd taken the screenshot. It had said that Hickey McGuire hasn't posted anything in Michael Vaughan case revisited. And that's because he came in and deleted his post from the Michael Vaughan group. His heart. Why did you do that, Adrien? Were you having a hard night? Were you thinking about what happened to Monkey? Were you actually feeling guilty? You come in to the Michael Vaughan Facebook group and post a heart and realize, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe people are going to figure out my, social media account. So you came in and you deleted it. I think you should have left it there. At least it looked like you had a heart, if even for a second. Actually looked like you cared a little bit. And if it does weigh on you, Adrien, talk to law enforcement and tell them everything you know, your involvement, get it off your chest. Do what you have to do. Stop being a coward. And now we're going to talk about this profile picture. Hickey McGuire, a different one. He updated his picture to this profile picture. I'm going to remove this for a second because I want to share something that I created, that I made about the image of that man that you're seeing there. Why did Adrien Lucienne, aka Hickey McGuire, change his profile picture to Vincent Margera? He was also known for Don Vito, who was arrested for inappropriately touching two 12-year-old girls and later convicted of sexual assault on one of them. Adrien, do you care to explain yourself? Vincent Rohr Margera, commonly known as Don Vito, was an American reality television star. On August 18, 2006, Margera was arrested for suspicion of inappropriately touching two 12-year-old girls. Margera was found guilty on 2 counts of sexual assault on a minor and acquitted on 1 count. December 2007, Margera was sentenced to 10 years of probation to be served in Pennsylvania, which happens to be Adrien Lucienne's current location. Is it not weird how weird is that? Adrien Lucienne wants to change his profile picture to a man who has been accused, charged, and doing horrible things to two 12-year-old girls. Do you care to explain yourself at all, Adrien, on why you would do that? And why, which I forgot to add this screenshot, you guys, as Jay is talking to Adrien, he keeps posting a picture of this guy to him over and over and over again. Why would he do that? That's just friggin' creepy and weird. Adrien, you have so much explaining to do. Talk to law enforcement. Do what's right. Hold on one second, you guys. I have talked about some of this information before in other lives, but now that there's more viewers, now that this case is really being looked at and gone over, it's important to go over some of these things again, new stuff, old stuff. Let's put back up this video. It again is just talking about what I just read, that he was arrested in Colorado Mills on suspicion of inappropriately touching two 12-year-old girls. He was also released on bail, which is disgusting. All of this information I got from, I think it was Wikipedia, when I looked up who this guy was using an image search, because I'm like thinking to myself, why does he keep sending this one particular picture to Jay over and over again? And then somebody else sent me his old profile picture, and I'm like, nuh-uh. Are you serious? So it just made it even more weird. Even more friggin' weird. So this man's a sicko, obviously. And now I want to talk about something else. A lot of people do know about the fact that Adrien Lucienne was charged for trafficking meth at one time. And if you guys hear that word, trafficking, I didn't say it. They said it. Troopers seized 50 grams of meth in Wood County, valued at $5,000. This went out November of 2018. And it said, and this was in Bowling. The search revealed a digital scale with white residue. Troopers say a passenger voluntarily produced the contraband. The two passengers included a 19-year-old Jenna of Buffalo, New York, a 28-year-old Adrien Lucienne. So Adrien Lucienne's 28 years old at the time, and he's hanging out with a 19-year-old girl. Just gonna point that out. Both were incarcerated in Wood County Justice Center and charged with possession and trafficking meth in the second degree. Possession and trafficking. Here's Adrien Lucienne saying, dumbass, you tried it though. You also tried to unalive me. I hope God has mercy on you. You did all this for what? Hope whoever put up put you up to this, paid you good. We talking about a little boy, and you're trying to unalive me. This ain't snitching. You playing with my life and others. Hope you receive instant karma. He's even mentioning a little boy. He's talking about them trying to unalive him because he's snitching. Because he threw these Pope twins under the bus, saying that Michael was abducted and unalived by them. And I'm going to share with you a video recording that I have. Hold on one second. I can't play this over and over again because if I do, hold on one second. If I do play this over and over again, YouTube gets very mad at me, so I won't be playing it over and over again. I'm going to throw it up. I will tell you this. This is one of those gang members, one of the Pope twins, that are threatening Adrien Lucienne.
I didn't kidnap that kid or kill the kid. So that was completely him. Don't be trying to put it off on me and my brother. I'll fucking smoke you guys myself.
This is one of the Pope twins. I'm going to be talking about them on a later live. Don't be talking about me, or I'll come smoke you myself. I didn't unalive that kid. I didn't kidnap that kid. They are pissed off at Adrien for running his mouth. And I got a question for you, Adrien. Why the hell are you throwing Pope twins, throwing gang members under the bus when there's 3 other people that you're living with that you could be throwing under the bus? Other suspects that have been named in this case, yet you're throwing other people's name out there. Sounds to me like he didn't just want the 4 of them to get in trouble. He wanted everybody that was involved to get in trouble, including the people that they were going to sell Michael Vaughan to. Because let me tell you something else about the Pope twins. Their mother has been into human trafficking for a long time. Those boys were raised into it. And we'll be talking about that information on another live. What else do we got here about Adrien? Here is Adrien once again pointing the finger. Instead of y'all trafficked that kid, like we saw in the earlier messages, he shows up in chat under Adrien Lucifer because he uses Lucifer as his name. And you see the pentagram. And you guys should see the profiles from his SoundCloud. They're very disturbing. We will be going over that in a different live. But he shows up to Justin when Justin was Justin for All instead of Clutch Them Pearls in the comments section while Stacey Wondra's up on his panel. And he says, lies. It's highlighted in red here. Lies. Y'all took that boy. Pointing the finger at Stacey himself. Y'all took that boy. I didn't take that boy. Y'all took that boy. Y'all took that boy. Having knowledge, Adrien, of what happened. And then Adrien says here, in the same chat on Justin's live with Stacey Wondra, he says, I ain't stupid. No interviews for this guy. I'm not going to say the word. I spoke to the pigs. He's claiming that he spoke to law enforcement. And from what I understand, Lucienne, that is a lie. Had you talked to law enforcement, wouldn't your statements be inside this probable cause affidavit? Maybe not, because it's not yours. I don't know. It kind of sounds like it, because from what I understand, Adrien, you were too chicken shit to talk to law enforcement. You had your attorney do it instead. You guys all remember when J.D. Huff told everybody who the suspects were and said that Brandon and Adrien also had knowledge of and were living with the Wondras, and they were looking for them? Well, they did end up catching up to Brandon and catching up to Adrien. But from what I understand, law enforcement didn't talk to Adrien. They talked to his attorney. Adrien Lucienne plays a huge part in the abduction and in unaliving Michael Vaughan. He can try to spin it any way he wants. Adrien Lucienne is taking pictures of himself, taking selfies of himself right after Michael Vaughan was put into a duffel bag that he helped Sarah put him into, according to the affidavit, according to Stacey's statements. At approximately, let me just look real quick. Because I want to read it again. Adrien's phone did not provide any location data during the evening of July 27th, 2021. However, Adrien took a selfie photo in the guest bathroom of the Wondras residence at 7:26 on page 3 of the probable cause affidavit. When Stacey, Brandon, and Sarah are all seen leaving the neighborhood at 7:08 with Michael in the bed of the truck in that duffel bag going to Cuna. They come back, and in the morning, Adrien Lucienne joins Brandon and Sarah in going to get Michael to bring his body back to Fruitland. He has helped Sarah dig a hole to bury Michael in the Wondras' backyard. Taking a selfie of himself just moments after he helped put Michael in a duffel bag is pretty damn cold to me. Pretty damn cold to me. Stacey Wondra has said he's had involvement, and Sarah Wondra mentions him being the one who did it, being the one who actually harmed Monkey in her original affidavit when the warrant was served. Adrien Lucienne is changing his profile picture to a man who was charged horrible things having to do with two 12-year-old girls. He is speaking with his friend and telling people sacrifice went wrong. That's never happened before. He also says, I ain't going to say anything if they leave me alone. Adrien Lucienne, you were a monster. No, Adrien Lucienne did not leave the Wondras house that night. He never left. He never went to his girlfriend's. Like it's been said, Adrien Lucienne was at the house the night that Michael was abducted. I'm wondering the same thing, Kelly. Was his phone turned off? Is that why they only have the picture? Because picture carries data. But if he turned his phone off, which in all actuality was a smart idea, he didn't want people to know he was there at that house that day with everything going on. So yeah, did he turn his phone off? Thank you so much for the super chat. Let's do some dancing in our chair. Thanks, Sam, for your research, time, and sharing. This is wild. Can we get the document anywhere? Glad you're feeling better. Thank you so much for Under Your Scars for coming in. I really appreciate the super chat. And yes, you can get the document if you go to Michael Vaughan Case Revisited, and I will put that in chat right now for you. And anybody else that would like to get the affidavit, or even just come into the Michael Vaughan Case Revisited Facebook. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can find it. There's also a Michael Vaughan playlist. Oh my goodness, where is it? Oh, here it is. Right before my eyes. I put the majority. Sometimes it takes me a minute, I'm not going to lie, but the majority of the information that I find, I will post up in the Michael Vaughan Facebook group. I do the same for Kyron Horman's information. I think it's important to have the information out there for other creators to use. I think it's really, really important for everybody to just have, good information and facts. And it doesn't get any better than Adrien Lucienne's own word screenshots, profiles. And thank you so much, because I am feeling so much better. I really do appreciate super chat. I am just looking through, seeing what everybody's got to say. Yeah, you're going to want to rewind. This entire live was based off of, well, it was all about Adrien Lucienne, his involvement, breaking down the affidavit in any way, shape, or form that I could that had something to do with Adrien. And I shared a lot of information that I have, and even a recording that I have. So, yeah, go back and watch the replay. And thank you for being here. Alibi save selfie. I don't know if he wants an alibi inside. And by the way, just to be perfectly clear, you guys, this isn't the picture that he took of himself that night. I don't know where this came from. I found this picture on the internet, just saying, through one of his profiles or something. I have no idea when this picture was taken. All I know is that Adrien got into the shower and cleaned himself, got out, and took a selfie of himself. Doesn't mention the shower. in the affidavit, but I was told by a very reliable source that that's what he did. And if he had involvement with, according to Stacey, he did. And he willingly admits it so many times to other people and in chat on YouTube and in other places to other people. He was probably trying to wash off evidence. I just don't get the selfie. Like, it just shows you what kind of person he is. He doesn't give two shits about Michael and what he just did. All he cares about is himself. Adrien, we're watching you. We are watching you. He's got warrants in Indiana and in Maryland. Thank you for being here. Shortcake in the house. Thank you for coming over. Trophy photo, possibly. That would be gross. But you know what? In Kyron Horman's case, his stepmother, whom has been the focus, the last picture of Kyron taken was the picture that she took of Kyron before she did what she did. So it very well could be a trophy, because that's what I think in the Kyron case. That just makes it gross even more. All four suspects, period. Kelly believes he took a picture at 7:26 for a reason. Or maybe she's asking, did he do that for a reason? Was he maybe wanting to prove that Sarah and Stacey and Brandon, that he was still at the house and didn't pack up and go anywhere? Why did they leave him at the house? Was he there to keep watch? Keep watch and keep them updated while they're gone in CUNA on what's going on in the neighborhood? If they're coming by and stopping by the house to knock on the door, is he hearing anybody out there? Michael, because the community got together, the law enforcement got together, multiple law enforcement agencies are together looking for Monkey. And the second day, there's even helicopters. They were all shitting their pants the entire time they're looking for Michael in that neighborhood. Whichever one of these guys that made the decision to actually grab Michael was ignorant. Because law enforcement, according to this affidavit, are talking to all four suspects on August 1st of 2021. Just days after Michael was abducted. And Adrien's hiding in the closet, not wanting to provide law enforcement with any kind of identification, using Stacey Wondra's phone number for his own, not wanting to provide his social security number. Melissa, thank you for coming in. She says, I hate them so much. It doesn't even make any sense. They're all so evil. You could just see it in their eyes. And Adrien, he uses the name Adrien Lucifer and has some very disturbing stuff. Very haunting, disturbing, evil things in his profiles. Just looking at comments. OG Nanny says, and Stacey swore he didn't come back to their house that night. Oh, I just can't with these people. Yeah, Stacey Wondra swore that he wasn't there. But you know what, OG Nanny? I have a recording of him saying he was there from the night that I got him up on my panel. I talked to him about Adrien being at the house that night while we were waiting for Brandy to come up And at first he said he wasn't there, but then I got him to say that he did. So which one was it? I know for a fact Adrien Lucienne was in that house. The only person that left that night was Brandon Shurtliff. He told his friend Dan Guthrie and his girlfriend Misty Miller that he had left the Wondra's house and went back to Cuna that night because he wasn't getting along with everybody there at the house and wanted to leave. And we know the real reason why, Brandon, that you left that night. You were scared to death that somebody was going to find Michael in your mom's spare bedroom. Terrified. Brandon, we know what you did, and we know you know where Michael is. And it's time for you to do some talking. Shortcake, thank you so much for being here. Did he put in a... I don't know. I can't read that, so I'm not going to put that up here. It is very heartbreaking. All of this information's heartbreaking, and the more information that comes out, the worse it's going to get, guys. This is just a probable cause affidavit. This isn't even evidence that's going to come out in the discovery. This isn't even what we're going to hear in court. Lord knows what other details there could be. That's why we have to keep supporting the family, because they're going to go through a lot and are going through a lot now and have been for over 4 years since Michael's abduction. But as court moves forward, as they sit in that courtroom and listen to more information that comes out, they're going to have a very difficult time. All my love goes to the Vaughan family. Grubby Goat says, I wish we could go back in time and stop all this evil thing from happening. I know. I know. And Tyler beats himself up the worst, when all he was actually doing was being a good father and changing the baby's diaper, and Michael being his energetic, you know, energetic self, just wanting to go out, go play with kids, left the house. And at the same time, there's predators wandering the neighborhood. And I can say that now, wandering the neighborhood, because Brandon Shurtliff is out there from 6:08 to almost 6:30, the same time Michael's out wandering around. Dorothy Starkey sees Michael on a tricycle on Red Wing, the corner of Red Wing and Meadowlark. All mentioned right here in this affidavit. I think I need a sip of my tea here. I'm still making it through chat because I want to just go over any questions in here. Oh my gosh, OG Nanny, that's a good one too. They always say they never leave anybody alone in the house, and they never left Adrien alone in the house. I remember hearing that. And here we are leaving Adrien in the house the night Michael Vaughan was abducted, and in their living room. Randy, your baby boy is in heaven waiting to see you again. That is a fact. Oh, we know it. We know he is a little angel up there. And, he's speaking to everybody. He is up there with God, just leaning on the right people to help us investigation and to help put monsters away. Because justice is coming. I'm still going through messages here. Sins and secrets. Thank you so much for coming in. I think this is darker than we want to admit. It is. And now I'm going to be able to talk more about it. Just want to keep going here. Looking at people's questions. Yes, Adrien Lucienne has the connections. He travels the country. He travels around everywhere. From Idaho to Indiana, California, going to Idaho, going up to Washington, D.C. and Pennsylvania, and then up there in that area. Do you guys see that? He's traveling the entire country, and that's all he's been doing since Michael Vaughan's abduction, and only was doing before that. Not only does he have connections, the traveling. Ask yourself, what does that mean? What is he doing? He says, sacrifice gone wrong. That's never happened before. To me, that sounds like he has done this before, but nobody has ever been unalived in front of him, obviously, or something. That's what I get out of his statement, that he never saw anything like that happen before. Is he a Satanist? I believe so. Other people believe so. He has the number 666 on his chest. He has a tattoo of Satan on the side of his neck. He's using a pentagram for his profile. The stuff that is on the stuff that's on his SoundCloud is wow. Little C, I agree with you. If he does it now, he's done it before. And we're just going to keep learning more about all of this. And like Hair Curlers in Crime is saying right here. So the word on the street was already that Adrien did what he did. The secret, or the streets knew. Yeah. And the streets were talking. Because a little boy ended up unalived, and then their name starts getting thrown out, and they're all worried about what's going to happen to them. So they're trying to, cover their asses. Both of those Pope twins, though, are in jail. JPG is here in the house. Thank you so much for coming, and says, so much love and prayers to Brandy. My heart breaks for her. She is so strong. She's unstoppable. She's an unstoppable force, and she is so very strong. Thank you so much for coming. Mama Bear's trying to catch up. She's 6 minutes behind, she says. I'm just looking through chat. I don't know if anybody else has put up anything new. Let me just look at new comments. The devil is real, so is our Heavenly Father, and they will all face judgment. I think Sarah realized what she got herself into, but it was too late. I think Sarah Wondra suffered some trauma and couldn't handle it because it didn't go the way it was supposed to go. They were supposed to take a kid, they were supposed to get some money, and instead, she ends up freaking out, and Michael doesn't make them any money because they unalive him for whatever reason. How is he paying for all these plane tickets? Is he using a credit card? Is he using cash? Follow the money. Adrien Lucienne loves to use the Greyhound and other bus companies that are out there because it's way cheaper. But we do know at one time he, according to Brandon, he flew in on a plane from California to Idaho. How did he get that money? I don't know. It's a lot of money for a plane ticket, though. Tell you what, I don't even go down and visit my relatives down in Texas because it's so much money to get a plane ticket. It's like from here to Texas, like $800 or $900 one way or round trip. Meme Gene says, how many more children? Yeah. Have they done this before? Thank you guys all again for coming in. True Crime Tribe is here. Thank you for coming. I wanted to just talk about Adrien Lucienne. More information about him is going to be coming out. And like I said, this recording that I have with Jay, there's more to come. It's just hours and hours and hours of recordings that I have to go through. I have to take clips. I have to redact. I have to do a ton of work. So we will be putting that out as often as we can, but we are going to finish going over this affidavit because there's so much more to talk about here. So much more. Thank you guys always for coming, for supporting me, for supporting the Vaughan family, and most of all, for being here for Monkey. Michael Joseph Vaughan was abducted July 27th, 2021 from Fruitland, Idaho, and the four named suspects are Stacey Wondra, Sarah Wondra, Adrien Lucienne, and Brandon Shurtliff. All four of them are suspects. 3 of them are in jail. Only one of them is serving time on charges having to do with Michael's abduction and murder, and that is Stacey Wondra. Adrien, time is running out for you. It's time for you to talk. You can keep trying to run and hide, but law enforcement knows exactly where you are. Call the tip line if you see Adrien Lucienne. Call the tip line if you have any information regarding Michael's abduction. The tip line phone number is 208-642-6006, or you can email findmichael@fruitland.org. Be Monkey's hero. Be the family's hero. Whatever it is that you got on your chest that you need to get off your chest, ask yourself, would I want this to happen to my kid? Would I want somebody out there to know something and not come forward, something that could help bring my child home? And we all know that Michael Vaughan's not coming home to his family the way they wanted him to come home. They're going to lay him to rest. And Michael deserves to have that peace. The family deserves to have that peace. Nothing is ever going to make any of this any better. But his parents want to know where he is. They suffer every single day. His entire family suffer every single day wondering where he is. They want him home. Be Monkey's hero. Be the Vaughan family hero. Call the tip line 208-642-6006 or email findmichael@fruitland.org. Adrien Lucienne, I know for a fact you know who's been talking with me. I know you know your buddy's voice. And so much more is coming. So much more. If you go talk to law enforcement, maybe I won't put out the rest of the information. Keep that in mind. And give law enforcement a call. Go talk to them and tell them what you know. And Jay, thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for all of the help. Mad respect to you. Just know that I will forever be grateful for everything you've done. Everything. And if anybody out on the streets wants to call you a narc or anything else, you tell them you did what you thought you had to do for a missing 5-year-old little boy named Michael Vaughan. You did what you had to do for the Vaughan family because you were hurting. Don't let anybody tell you any different. You did everything you could to help bring justice for Michael. I know where your heart is. We spoke so long. So don't you let anybody out there on that street say anything else to you. I appreciate you. The Vaughan family appreciates you. I know law enforcement appreciates everything you've done. Just don't forget that. You've helped so much. Again, if you have any information, please call the tip line 208-642-6006 or email findmichael@fruitland.org. You're not narking. You're helping a missing 5-year-old little boy, a little boy that was abducted by monsters, a little boy that was unalived by these monsters for no reason at all other than to make a buck. It's disgusting. I'm sorry, you guys, that you guys have to keep listening, to everything that's in this affidavit. I know it's all over the YouTube streets and we're all talking about it, but it's just going to continue. Kimberly Mann, thank you for coming. Haven't seen you in a minute. I hope you've been doing okay. I need to replay. I came in late. Yep, you better replay this one, girl. It's a lot of information. Michael and his family have the right for justice. Mama B says, bless you, Sam. Thank you so much. Thank you. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else than right here as this information comes out and to... I missed a super chat. I am so sorry. I'll go back, but let's dance for... Let me look for it real quick. Sometimes it will show up on my phone and not on my StreamYard. I did not see it, and I am not seeing it. I really do appreciate the super chat. If you want, you can ask me the question again. I don't want you to have to spend any more money. I'm going to look through. So sorry, I just wanted you to know I support you. I appreciate that so much. And if it was a super chat where you're asking a question, please ask me again. And if I can, I will answer the question for you. You guys know too, like my Michael Vaughan Case Revisited discussion group is also for discussing things. So you guys can go in there, post information if you want to talk about it. But I will let you know, if you go in there spreading misinformation, I won't allow it to stay in the group. I will delete it. If you come in there harassing people with any kind of the parents did this, you're blocked. You're gone. It says right here in this affidavit that the parents didn't have anything to do with Michael Vaughan's abduction. So bite me on that one. Just saying. Well, I appreciate that so much. No, just thank you for fighting for Michael. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't tolerate anybody coming into my Kyron or my Michael group talking crap about the parents or the family members. It's just, no, not going to happen. But we do have discussions. We do talk. I do post. So you can join us over there. I'm famous for spur of the moment lives. Just ask my moderators that are here in chat now. They'll tell you. So click that notification bell and please help get this out in the algorithm by going out and making sure to give a thumbs up. Okay? It really does help get this out there. And like I mentioned earlier, if you want to do something for the family, share. Like Brandy always says, share Michael's beautiful face and beautiful smile. Keep his story going. If you don't have access to that, Google Michael's story and just share that Stacey Wondra was just arrested for first-degree murder, second-degree kidnapping, and destruction of evidence. Find any YouTube live on Michael that has truthful information and share it. Share it here, share it anywhere. It's really important to just keep his name out there and keep going. Yep, it said right there in the article that he traffics meth. Yes, yes. Thank you for coming in. You are more than welcome, Callie. Thank you so much. Hit that thumbs up. Thank you, guys. He is leading the way, isn't he? He's just, justice is coming, you guys. There's so much going to keep coming out. So we got to go over this affidavit and know that the other affidavit that came out on Sarah, because I keep getting asked this a lot. Why isn't everybody talking about Sarah's affidavit? She has not been arrested. She has not been charged yet. She is not being transferred anywhere as of now that I know of. And her affidavit says the exact same thing Stacey's does. The exact. To the T. I've read through both and they are the exact same thing. So that would be the reason why a lot of people aren't sharing Sarah's. We know that people are really sharing Stacey's. How does this guy get money to travel, right? Stacey said Ali told him Adrien T people. Yes, he did. He said that Adrien was into human trafficking. No, she has not been charged that I am aware of, but there is a probable cause affidavit written out on her, and I keep seeing creators put out there that she's been charged, but she hasn't that I am aware of, and I'm pretty sure I would have found out. Like 100% I would have been found out had she been moved from the prison where she's at, or got served her paperwork, or told she was being charged and moved, or any of that. I would know. 100% I would know. And this right here, Callie, is Brandy's sister from another mother. And she's saying, nope, not yet. His light in Monkey is outshining the darkness, and he and his mama and his army are unstoppable. True words right there. True words. All right, you guys, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to prepare my next live. Don't know when I'll be putting that up. I know Sunday, I've got a birthday party to go to. So Sunday I will be busy. Could be tomorrow, could be Monday. So just keep a lookout. Subscribe, hit the bell. If you don't hit the bell, you might miss a live. I'm very spontaneous. Sometimes I don't even put up thumbnails till just shortly before my lives. I try to get better at that. But as I'm researching and everything else, I just lose myself and forget. And then I go, oh shit, I forgot. Well, oh well. People can watch the replay. All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I love you. Let's put up some monkeys and blue hearts and prayers and justice and whatever you want to put up for Monkey while this is playing, please. Have a great weekend if I don't see you before it's over. And like Brandy always says, be kind to one another. Love each other. Good night.